Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're exploring a topic that, well, it consistently challenges our understanding, the sheer scale of the universe. When we think about the universe's size, it often seems like, a simple question of distance, right? How far is it? But as we delve deeper, and we will today, you'll find it quickly leads to some really profound mysteries. It truly pushes the limits of our human perception.
Absolutely. And for this deep dive, we're drawing insights from a piece called The Infinite Cosmos, Mystery and Limits of Perception. We'll guide you through the latest scientific facts about cosmic scale, but also, crucially, the philosophical paradoxes that pop up when we try to truly grasp just how vast and complex everything really is.
Okay, let's get into it. Maybe start with a concept that immediately kind of trips us up, the observable universe. The source highlights something pretty astonishing about it right away. What's that?
Right, here's the mind-bending part. According to current science, the observable universe, that's the chunk we can theoretically see, is approximately 93 billion light years across.
93 billion, but hang on.
Exactly. The natural question is, how can light from galaxies, say, 46.5 billion light years away just now be reaching us, when the universe itself is only about 13.8 billion years old?
Yeah, that math doesn't seem to work at first glance. How can something be almost, 4 times farther away than the time light had to travel?
That's the core paradox we need to unpack.
It does feel profoundly counterintuitive. So how do scientists make sense of that huge difference between the age and the apparent size? What's the explanation?
Well, the crucial piece here is that space itself isn't static. It's been expanding since the Big Bang. So you need to think of it not just as light traveling through space, but as light traveling as space itself expands.
Ah, okay, like the latest surfing on an expanding wave.
Sort of, yeah. As the photons travel towards us, the very fabric of the universe stretches beneath them, carrying them much further than their own speed through space would suggest over that time. So what we can observe is fundamentally limited by two things: the speed of light, which is constant, and the age of the cosmos, how long that light has actually had to travel to reach our telescopes.
That's like a horizon.
Exactly. It truly represents the absolute horizon of what we can ever hope to perceive from here.
Okay, so the expansion of space is the key. That really reframes how you think about those vast distances, but, it immediately makes you ask the next question, doesn't it? If that's the part we can see, the observable bit, what lies beyond that edge, does the source talk about the unobservable universe?
It does, and this is where things get even more speculative, naturally. Beyond our detectable sphere lies what the source calls the unobservable or infinite universe. Its true size is not only unknown, but, as the source puts it, it may be unknowable.
Unknowable, so we might never know how big the whole thing is.
Potentially. We enter this realm where, well, the fabric of space could just stretch on forever, infinitely. No edge, no end. Or, and this is another possibility, it might actually loop back on itself, like the surface of a sphere, but in higher dimensions.
Like Pac-Man. Go off one side and reappear on the other.
Yeah, on an unimaginably vast scale, maybe. If you traveled far enough in one direction, you'd eventually come back to where you started. But the key takeaway here, really, is that the observable universe, as utterly immense as it is definitely not the whole picture.
Right.
It's just our tiny, finite window onto a potentially much, much larger reality.
Yeah.
Maybe an infinite one.
This leads perfectly into this other really fascinating kind of philosophical point the source raises, the paradox of what next. I mean, I think most people listening, like me, you instinctively think, okay, if there is an edge somewhere out there, what's beyond it? What's on the other side? How does the source tackle that?
Yeah, that fundamental question, that what next impulse, it really starts to break down when we apply it to something like the edge of the universe. The source explains that the question itself might be flawed because, well, space is not like a room with walls.
Okay.
If the universe truly is all of existence, then the phrase outside the universe doesn't really have any meaning. It's like asking what's north of the North Pole.
Ah, right. There is no north once you're at the North Pole. The direction ceases to exist at that point.
Exactly. The question just dissolves because the reference frame itself, the whole concept of north, or in this case space, simply ends. You can't go further because the concept of further in that context breaks down.
That North Pole analogy really helps make that clearer. Wow. It's almost frustrating, isn't it? How our brains are wired to think linearly, but the cosmos might not work that way at all. So does this same paradox, this what next problem, does it apply when we think about time too? Like if time had a beginning, or if it might have an end?
It absolutely does. The source elaborates on this what next paradox for time as well. If you imagine reaching an end of time, our minds immediately go, okay, and then what? What happens after that?
Yeah, instinctively.
But the reality, if time truly ends, is that there is no next. There's no after. Our minds are just. They're built to think in sequences. Past, present, future. We are wired, deeply wired, to expect a next step, a subsequent event.
But the universe doesn't have to follow our wiring.
Precisely. The cosmos, existence itself, might not follow that sequential pattern beyond certain limits. Limits that might be imposed more by our perception than by reality itself. It's quite humbling, actually.
It really is. So, okay, let's bring this all back. We started asking, how big is the universe? What does all this tell us about the answer? It sounds like it's not just a number in light years.
Exactly. I think the ultimate point is that the true size of the universe might be, as the source says, less about kilometers or boundaries and more about the limits of our perception.
The limits in our own heads, almost.
In a way, yes. Every time we think we've reached some kind of edge, whether it's a scientific one, like the edge of the observable universe, or a philosophical one, like the supposed end of space or time, that question, what next, just pops right back up. And that question, as the source points out, it's what has pushed us forward scientifically and philosophically for centuries. But it also keeps bumping us up against, well, the limits of human understanding.
It reminds us that maybe some things are just bigger than our ability to fully grasp them right now.
I guess so.
And that feels like a really profound place to wrap up our deep dive today. We started trying to measure something that seems concrete, distance, and we've ended up grappling with the nature of existence, the limits of our own minds, and this persistent, maybe essential mystery at the heart of the cosmos.
Indeed. The size of the universe, as the infinite cosmos piece suggests, it might not just be a matter of physical distance. It's perhaps more a matter of continuous mystery. It is, quote, as big as our imagination and as endless as our questions, which really invites us all to keep wondering, keep questioning the nature of reality itself.
Even if the final answers always seem just a little bit beyond our reach.
Especially then, perhaps.